And while we're talking about festivals, and today being a festival, we must say Jai Śrī Baladev's appearance day ki Jai. But as well as today being a festival, yesterday in Moscow was Moscow maybe, but St. Petersburg was a festival which Avadut Maharaj arranged. It was the India Day of India, something like this. And they had the consul there, and they had many people there. They made all sorts of arrangements. So that was also kind of a good gathering, and something which kind of unexpected in the COVID era, but they managed nicely. Govinda, Govinda. And we were talking with Vijayaraman Prabhu and with Pritu Prabhu, and they were all super busy, but very happy. And Avadut Maharaj is there, and of course he was the inspiration behind everything. He was there, but too busy. Didn't get to see him yesterday. And I didn't yet see, but actually, why it was in my mind, I don't know, because I wasn't directly thinking Balaram's appearance day as such in my half wakefulness, but I almost clicked on the Instagram to watch the live program this morning, because I was half conscious, if not fully conscious, and but I expected when we look back on the recordings, we'll find Paramananda giving a class about Balaram this morning, because he looks like he's in his priest's outfit. He has his farmer worker's outfit and his priest's outfit.
What's your message, Maharaj?
What message? Message is not, the message is good message. Different outfits for different savers. Here, when we see suddenly a devotee, we understand more or less what they're doing. They've got either their gardening clothes on, their working clothes, which are usually covered in paint and other things, their cooking clothes, which is the hat and the pinafore. So there are different saver clothes for different saver activities. Hare Krishna. All right, well, we're a handful this morning. we are just a handful this morning, a few of us, but maybe others will join. And well, that's interesting. I got a message from somebody I've not heard from for a long time right here, but I'm looking on Facebook and I don't have my glasses. But Seva Rupa did it in Mexico is with us, I think. Yes, I can't actually see. Yes, she's with us. And Brajamohini Didi is with us. Nirupama Devidasi with us in Govinda land. And because I don't have my glasses on, I don't think I can remember. Yes, Raj Bhuvanya Dev.
Wow, that's it.
Raja. So I do have Facebook on, but please, I don't see messages. If any of you want to sort of put messages there, I don't directly see them. So
no problem.
WhatsApp, Skype, or here is Zoom. We can see messages when they're here. All right, Radha Sundari Didi joined us too. And so we're a few minutes in, 5 minutes in, let's just give obeisances to each other. So we are gathered here today. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhavya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So Jai Śrī Baladev, Balaram ki Jai, Śrī Balaram's appearance day ki Jai. And perhaps we should begin with what happened? I had it here in front of me. Reciting Baladev's Pranam Mantram, which we are right there when Gurudev discovered this mantram, the Pranam mantra. And we were in Dum Dum Park and Gurudev, he came across this while proofreading and looking through, and well, proofreading means looking through. He wasn't the final proofreader for you know, all the dots and dashes, dotting the I's and crossing the T's of the Garga Samhita that was published in Bengali. But he did extensively read here, read there, look through. And this was when Bhakti Ananda Saga Maharaj, when he produced the Garga Samhita under Gurudev's direction. And when Gurudev was going through that Garga Samhita, he came across this and he was so happy. It's the Pranam mantra to Baladev. And again, I don't have my glasses because they're missing in action somewhere. They're around, no doubt. Not within arm's reach or visible. His mantra is Spuradamala Kiritang King Kini Kankanar Hung Chaladala Kakapolang Kundala Shri Mukhabjam Tuhinagiri Manogyam Nila Meghambarajam Halamusala Vishalam Kamapalang Samire. Hare Krishna. And the translation, I worship him. I worship him who has a shining pure crown with bangles, with moving curls of hair on his cheeks, with his lotus face decorated with earrings, etc., wearing rich blue clothes and carrying his huge plow and club. I worship him who has a shining pure crown with bangles, with moving curls of hair on his cheeks, with his lotus face decorated with earrings, etc., wearing rich blue clothes and carrying his huge plow and club. Jai.
Maharaj, a big jet has just arrived from Australia.
Abhinava Sundar Prabhu. Abhinava Sundar Prabhu. Where have you been all of our lives? And you see, he's wearing his priest's clothing too. We can tell something about
Boss Maharaj.
And you see, he's wearing his priest's clothing too. And he has a loudspeaker on as well. Just see.
Not very well, but I'm wearing them.
You wear them well. Okay.
Oh, I can't hear
We had
it.
just earlier commented about Paramanandapu wearing priest's clothing. So now we're commenting.
We're watching you on Facebook.
Oh, you are?
We were, but now we're here.
Oh, okay. It's a strange thing. I don't see everybody on Facebook somehow or another. And somebody tried to explain it to me, but it's all very difficult. Kalikarambanana Devirasi, Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. There it is 4 p.m. No, it's not 4 p.m. Anyway, it's the afternoon.
12 p.m.
12 p.m., 12:11 p.m. in UK, Australia, Govinda Dham. So there, Govinda Dham, Paramanandapu has Govinda Farm nearby where he is just now. Here is Vila Govinda, and Nirupama is on Facebook and she's in Govinda land.
And Mathura Vasini is connected also, Maharaj, on Facebook.
Okay, welcome. Very good. And so please apologize to Balaram if he didn't receive Varuni yesterday. Mathura Vasini, did he ask through Praneshwari about making Varuna for Baladev? Because our ISKCON background, somebody invented something which they said was Varuni, Varuni. But it did not, the recipe did not meet the approval of Gurudev, we can say. But as I mentioned, it did meet his gentle amusement. The simple-hearted Vaishnavas.
Thinking, okay,
Maharaj, but on her behalf, she was almost sure it was not so, but she was just checking.
Oh yes, it's not any criticism. Things evolve from one item, and we've heard that this happened about different things in ISKCON, and so we don't want to like name them to say, oh, actually they're not doing right. But we have heard from those who were there that some of the formalities with ISKCON or the routine in ISKCON did come from like a particular occasion, and Srila Prabhupada said, yes, you may do so, you know, something like this. And then that became, you must do so. It was one temple started, then another temple did it. So, you know, lots of things evolve. So yes, Balaram's appearance day, and we've got Radha Sundari live in a train. That was an Indian train. I only saw for about 2 seconds, but I do recognize Indian trains, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's an Indian train. Oh, traveling in style. Traveling in style, air-conditioned, 2-tier AC. Ah, Indian railway system. Excuse me. Amir Sindhu Prabhu, you're leaving Jodhpur, going to? What place are you going to?
We are approaching Navadvip, Maharaj.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes. Already boarded at the Howrah station, and now on the train to Navadvip. Always very special feeling.
Jana Shatabdi.
Entering.
No. What train is it at this hour of the morning?
It's actually Puri train. I don't know. Everybody having like Jagannath Prasad here, but I didn't know that Jagannath Puri, then it's Howrah, then it's Navadvip.
Okay, it's one train a week on a Sunday, and you're on it. Okay.
Yes. Sunday train. Yes.
You see.
I was just thinking how Gurudev remembered all the trains, and Kanalal Prabhu in Govardhan, he was telling about when he was young how he brought his parents to Gurudev, and Gurudev was talking to them, explaining them everything about trains, that you can go to Navadvip by this train. It's a little bit more expensive, like 2 rupee more expensive. Then you can wait, you can get that another train. So he gave like everything, all explanation about the train. And I was just sitting and thinking how Gurudev remembered and knew all the schedule. And I spoke to Gurudev only like maybe twice in my life. And one time was also about the train. So he also asked me what train I'm taking, which station, Shialdo, Howrah, what. So, and I was just sitting and thinking, how possible he knew all these trains? And now I got to talk to you, and you asked the same question, and you even know it's like a Sunday train. So.
Well, in this age, India, if we do any traveling in India, basically it's the railway system. People know India by the train. So.
Yeah.
And Gurudev, he was the master of trains, because he knew how to get those tourist bogies, as they say, bogie means carriage in India. The tourist carriage for doing the pilgrimages around South India. And Gurudev, very expert in all regard. Okay, very good, amazing. Prabhu Radha Sundari Devarasi, I have you with us. Traveling to Navadvip in style. I think you need to turn your microphone off now, though. Okay, Jai. Interestingly, the train, we didn't hear the sound of the train, only the sound of the voices. All right. Anyway, wonderful. And if I'll say one thing about the trains. When we were young, the train that went up and down from Bandel, where that train will stop in Bandel, and Katwa, it was steam. It was a steam locomotive. And you can hear it sometimes when you hear Guru Maharaj's talks. You can hear the whistle of the train, and maybe, but anyway, steam locomotive. Hare Krishna. Okay, coming back to Baladev. Baladev he appeared before the invention of trains. Baladev, his appearance is described, no doubt in different places, but yesterday I was actually got distracted because I was looking for this pranam mantra in the Garga Samhita. And guess what? When we look for something, when we look for a reference, we get distracted. And then I came across in Garga Samhita a chapter which is entitled, in English at least, it's entitled something like the appearance of Lord Baladev.
Wow.
Of course, I don't have it open now. I don't have that little list open. But then there are maybe 6 chapters in the Garga Samhita. Let me have a quick look if this is the list. There are maybe 6, that means 449. This is probably it. No. Oh dear. Okay, I can't immediately find you the chapters. I'm sorry. But there are chapters in Garga Samhita which are describing different pastimes of Lord Balaram. So in Garga Samhita, it has a description of the Lord's appearance, and then it has a description of Krishna's appearance, and lots of things there, kind of in some detail. And when we read Garga Samhita, it's very much like reading the Krishna books. It's very much like reading those parts of the Krishna books which are telling of, well, the pastimes of Krishna. That is the Krishna books of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But because we're on theme, Goswami Maharaj will be speaking after 1 hour and 40 minutes, but I have a request to Paramananda Prabhu. He's fresh from the temple room a little while ago, and he'll have no doubt something fresh for us also from his discussion about Balaram this morning. So Balaram, I can just say, he is the original guru. This is described by Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. And Gurudev always coming to the point of Nityananda Prabhu. Whenever he's talking on this day about Balaram, he'll come and talk about Nityananda. So they are the same person in 2 different rooms. Almost like we see wearing the priest cloth when we're in the temple and the farmer's cloth on the farm. So Balaram, when he's Balaram in Krishna Leela, he's in one appearance. And when he's Nityananda in Gauranga Leela, who is Radha Krishna, he's in another appearance. But they are one and the same personality. 2 rooms in the highest quarter of the finest realm of the upper world. So original Guru, and today is like very significant in many ways, and we can hear something of this now from Paramananda Prabhu, fresh from the temple room in Chanman. Please, Prajalshta, I ask you in my best Russian.
Maharaj, I did not expect that really. I thought you would give me a break since it was a morning program. But what can we say? If a chance to glorify Baladev Nityananda, Guru Vaishnava coming to us, how can we refuse? And really it was very happy morning remembering Baladev. Like you said, it's always come to Nityananda, because really we can just, our heart just goes there. Irresistibly, unstoppably, we just go to Nityananda. This is the grace of our Guru Varga. Immediately we're thinking Baladev, Nityananda, and then we're thinking about whom? We're thinking about Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj. So this is how they appear to us. And many stories, like you said, Garga Samhita, Srimad Bhagavatam, many other stories we hear from our spiritual masters. And we're chanting the words of Baladev and that pranam mantra. We're also chanting. Really, it's very beautiful, Maharaj. We can do it one more time if you don't mind.
Yes, happily.
Because there's.
But I'm very.
Yes.
But I'm very clumsy to read this Sanskrit. So
I have it here.
okay, please.
Hold on. Yeah, here we go. Spurat amala kiritam kinkini kankanartam chaladalaka kapolam kundala shivakamjam duhinagiri manojam nilamekha bharajam halamushala vishalam kamapalam samide. So
Right.
Balaram described as this most powerful person, but what caught my attention is his description of his color. His color is the color of the snow-peaked mountain. But not just that. I mean, we can relate to that pretty easily. But it's a snow-peaked mountain under the moonlight. So I was thinking this morning, did Madhusudan Maharaj saw the color of Balaram body while he was on pilgrimage in Himalayas? Because that's probably the only chance to see that. But Krishna color we can relate to easily. Quite often we see these beautiful rain clouds. And I remember on one day we were outing with Madhusudan Maharaj, and we saw this huge Samvartika, almost Samvartika-sized cloud approaching. But it was during the day, and it was just a single huge cloud. So the sun was shining through. So the Shyam color had a little tinge of gold in it. So in a similar way, we can imagine, but again, the true vision of Baladev, we reminded ourselves today, anything about Baladev Nityananda must come from our guru. Then we can see a true vision, like anything connected to that. Like you mentioned Varuni, for example, that was the story in Chiang Mai. Not Chiang Mai, sorry, in Bangkok, in Thailand. They inquired my enthusiastic report about making Varuni. And of course, being a member of this society, happily I'm answered, oh, Gurudev, classic way. And then his eyes went round. He said, what do you mean classic way? And I said, well, yogurt, Gurudev, honey, some sugar, you leave it for a couple of days till it gets really nice and Varunish. And Gurudev looked at me, he just laughed. He said, Prabhu, this is not Varuni. What are you talking about? Classic way. And then this is my turn to be humble and silent for a while. Then I asked Śrīla Gurudev, so Gurudev, what is the real one? Then that was his turn to look at me. For almost several minutes, he looked at me thinking, should I tell him or not? Will he get it properly or not? And then he said very shortly, it's made of rice. And then immediately I said, oh, Gurudev, then all Japanese are the devotees of Balaram. Gurudev said, is that so? How is that possible? Oh, because there is not an offering happening in Japan without offering rice wine. So actually it is rice wine. So Baladev has always appeared to be intoxicated, but not just by wine, but by love and affection for Krishna. But he also likes wine, so that adds extra to that. So Varuni, and Gurudev told me, but devotees shouldn't take it. He made a point immediately after that. That's okay. So Varuni, now we know the recipe of the Varuni, but the devotees shouldn't take it. So coming back to Baladev, Nityananda, our heart goes to Nityananda right away. And we hear from devotees, sometimes they're saying, Baladev and magnanimity becomes Nityananda. I kind of disagree with that, with all due respect to the devotees. Maybe they didn't express it properly. Baladev is magnanimous. There is no doubt. He is already magnanimous. But you multiply by that infinite times, that magnanimity in Baladev, then he becomes Nityananda. I mean, he handled so many situations very magnanimously. Jarasandha, one slap, he's gone. Ahead, 100 miles away. Ramaharshana Sutta, he was just passing by, passing through the Nishwaranya forest. He saw yogis, he saw rishis, everybody is there, and he saw Baladev. And Baladev, the description of his figure, he is full of bala. He is big, his chest is broad. The color is like a snow pig under the moonlight. Beautiful, beautiful blue garments, earrings, kinkini kankanartu. They're always dangling, very playful, walking like an intoxicated elephant. A similar description, this is my favorite description of Baladev Nityananda, is when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes the vision when Nityananda appears to him in a dream. He describes how Nityananda comes in the garbs of the covered boy, holding a stick and a flute and swaying side to side like an intoxicated elephant. So think about it, hundreds of thousands of rishis and munis, and then Baladev entering that assembly suddenly. Everybody is just astonished, astounded. Immediately they're offering their obeisances, offering their respects due to Baladev. And by the way, why he went there? Because he didn't want to participate in the massacre that Krishna instigated. So I'm thinking, why would he go instead of participating in Kurukshetra? And of course, we know the reasons. He went to pray for the souls that about to get departed from. He knew what's going to happen. So he's visiting holy places here and there and just trying to stay cool. But he is Baladev. So his magnanimity, his mercy, he's got this divinely short temper in Baladev's form. So he sees Ramaharshana Sutta on the asana, thinking, oh, I am the representative of Vyasadeva. I am the knower of the Srimad Bhagavatam, who is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why am I to bow down before this personality here? So he is not coming down. Then he is passing through, grabbing a straw. And while he is passing through, he is approaching Ramaharshana Sutta, piercing his heart with that straw, dragging him rather unceremoniously from that seat, and installing Sutta Goswami, and says, please continue. And Dandavats to everyone, continues on his trip to South India, to holy places, apparently South India. So that is his magnanimity in Balaram's form. But what does Nityananda? And Madhusudan Maharaj recently, he said, devotees were learning Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Rai. Habhimana Shunya. What's the next word, Maharaj?
Nitai.
Abhimana Shunya. Something Nagare Vidai.
Nitai Nagare Vidai.
Yes. So what does he do? No anger, no short temper, nothing. He goes to the most fallen souls and he bangs on their doors till they come out, and he begs them, please take the name of Gauranga, Bhaja Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga, Loha Gauranga Nam. And what Mahaprabhu told him before he sent him for that kind of preaching, he said, you chant the name of Krishna, you see anybody, you tell them about Krishna. He's saying, Bhaja Krishna, Kaha Krishna, Loha Krishna, Shikha. But Nityananda, he is saying, you take the name of Gauranga, he is the savior of this time. He came to deliver everybody. Come and drown in the ocean of prema. So this is Nityananda Baladev's mood. So of course, he is so dear to us. Everything is coming by his mercy. So that is the mood, the most fallen. To the point, he is finding the fallen of the fallen. To the point that even Haridas Thakur says, better leave those guys, I don't think we can handle this too. Haridas Thakur, fearless Haridas Thakur, he stood against the Muslim ruler. He was whipped on how many, 21, 22, 20 something marketplaces without any fear whatsoever. They're so bad, Nityananda, impossible to convert them. But Nityananda, that is qualification for Nityananda. The worse, the better. They are the most qualified recipient of the mercy. So here again, how fortunate we are. So he can go down to the lowest region and take us to the highest region. And everything is coming by his grace. And in our age, how can we relate to that? But through his manifestation, through his beautiful divine form of Guru, Vaishnava. And not just, of course, Guru, yes, no doubt about it, but Vaishnava. Everyone carries the particle of the mercy of Lord Nityananda, and everyone has the capacity to give that particle. More or less, how many percent, that's a different question. So we should keep that in mind as well. So everything that comes to us, the temple, direct manifestation of Baladev Nityananda. Paraphernalia we're using for worshipping, direct manifestation of Nityananda Baladev. Anything whatsoever we can conceive of, the dham, the place itself where the temple is, the dham where the leelas were, direct manifestation of Baladev. So he is the MC, the master of ceremonies. This is why he's coming ahead of Krishna, ahead of Mahaprabhu, except one time when he came as a Lakshmana. That was an exception. Who knows? Krishna Lila goes in a crooked way. Rupa Goswami explains to us. Do not try to find explanation for everything. But he used it. When Baladev slapped Krishna, and Krishna complained to Mother Yashoda, and we were talking this morning, when you're slapped by your brother, senior brother, where do you go? You don't go to your father. Your father will tell you, man up, go get another slap. Stop crying, you fool. He will send him back, or go fight back or something. No, Krishna is very smart. He goes to Mother, because Mother is so affectionate. Of course, she will punish Baladev. Baladev got punished, chastised heavily by Mother Yashoda. But after that, he's saying, Krishna, what kind of behavior is that? I mean, why are you doing it? You cannot tolerate a single slap. I just slapped you a little bit. And you cannot tolerate that. Remember how much I had to tolerate from you. When you came as Ram and Lakshman, everything you said, I did. I disagreed with many things, but because you said, I tolerated, said nothing. So he's saying that. Anyhow, it's endless. I mean, really, when we talk about Baladev, Nityananda, it naturally goes to our Guru Varga, our dear Divine Master, Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj. So it's endless, infinite. And we're very happy to be drowning in that ocean. Because our situation, like that verse that was brought to us, it's actually in Prapana Jivanamritam, revealed to us by Srila Guru Maharaj, but brought into attention recently by our dear Keshavananda Prabhu, where Srila Rupa Goswami describing situation in this world. He's saying that we're drowning in the vast sea of frustration, swept by the tide of hallucination. Oh Krishna, please, oh friend of the most fallen, extend me your helping hand just this one. So this is our situation here. But Nityananda, Baladev, our spiritual masters, they're coming to take us. They're extending their hands and they're coming to take us and drop us in the sea of Krishna Prema, where we can drown, hopefully, because it is said, everyone got affected by that. We're singing about it quite often. But devotees were drowning and non-devotees were floating on the surface. But everyone got something. But we don't want to be the floaters. We want to be the divers in that ocean. We want to be looking for those gems hidden in that ocean. Avatarne Gaurachandre Vistirne Prema Sagare Suprakashita Rannoge Yodina Dina Evasat. Mahaprabhu Prabodhananda Saraswati is saying, those who do not collect gems in the infinite ocean of Krishna Prema brought and expanded by Gauranga, expanded by Nityananda. They are the poorest of the poor. So this is our meditation for today and for 366 days, Maharaj, 25 hours and 8 days a week.
Minimum. Jai. Okay, we have our minimum meditation assigned to us, our Seva assignment given by Paramananda, 366 days a year, 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. Jai. Many thanks, Prabhu. And something that I can would also can mention, that is that in Navadip, where Amir Sindhu, everyone, they're just hurtling to Navadip in the train right now. In Navadip, the etiquette, and this is in Navadip, we're not saying that everyone should follow this etiquette in your own villages. Navadip has many temples of the Gaudiya family, of Srila Saraswati Thakur's family. There are many temples there. And so the etiquette in Navadip is that on the day of the charger or senior persons in the temple, of their appearance day or disappearance day, then the etiquette is that each temple sends 2 devotees as representatives in honor of the chargers of the temple, etc. And so I'm mentioning this because we've heard different times, many or several, whatever the number is, of talks in the Gaudiya Mat of the different chargers, the different sannyasis, devotees, of who are giving some Hari Katar at these programs and at different various programs. And generally we can say, with all respect to all of the Vaishnavas, they're giving Harikatha, they're giving some nice talks and this, that, and the other. But in one sense, you can say generic. But I mean, this is something that we've noticed. But Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, like everything they're giving is always like, they're talking to the devotees, they're giving something from their heart. So I'd just like to read a little part of Guru Maharaj talking about Baladev. And Guru Maharaj is, now I got to find it again. Okay, we know when we come to understand who is Baladev, Krishna's very first expansion means Krishna makes another Krishna because Krishna wants to play. So he makes another Krishna to give arrangement for his play, so that we understand that all of the paraphernalia, everything is coming from Balaram. And so this is the first expansion of Krishna is Balaram. And Balaram is Krishna, except he is for Krishna, except instead of that he is the one to receive the worship, receive this, that, and the other. So he makes arrangement for Krishna's service. And so everything to do with Krishna Lila, the origin is coming from Balaram. But we also hear that Yoga Maya, we hear of Mahamaya, that's in charge of the illusory, mundane environment. But there's another environment, the spiritual environment, the play land of the Supreme Lord, the perfect plane. And that, in that plane, Yoga Maya, she's looking after so many arrangements. So anyway, here's Srila Guru Maharaj, and he's reflecting about some thoughts which have come to him. He's speaking openly, happily. So this is from Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion, Volume 3, and Guru Maharaj is saying, when I was composing Shri Shri Prapana Jivanamritam, I was faced with the position of having to think very deeply on this following point. What is the relation between Baladev and Yoga Maya? So this point he is thinking seriously about, deeply about. What is the relation between Baladev and Yoga Maya? Then, although I did not find it anywhere in the scriptures, I discovered within myself that Baladev must be the master of Yoga Maya. That is, after analyzing the spiritual environment of their pastimes, I came to the conclusion that they must have some connection, means Baladev and Yoga Maya. So Baladev and Yoga Maya are both making arrangements for Krishna Lila. So their relationship must be very intimate. Yoga Maya must be in the position of the wife of Balaram. This conclusion came to me. And then later on, I found that Jiva Goswami had also expressed such an opinion, that Yoga Maya and Baladev are very close and similar. And also Brinda Devi's nature and conduct is of very similar nature to them in this respect. Yoga Maya is the inner circle, the Shakti position. And Balaram is in the outer or male circle, the second layer. But in the center is only Krishna feeling his own ecstasy. Sukha Rupa Krishna Kore Sukha Asvadana from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anyhow, when I read that, I was so happy because this kind of expresses Guru Maharaj's like uniqueness in all his talks and not giving like generic things. Of course, giving Krishna conscious, but in always a very lively and a very living way. And today, Balaram's appearance day, we know that he's that he manifests as everything. He even said as the bed, as the fan, as everything to do with the items needed for Krishna's pastimes. But from Balaram, when we see the quadruple expansion of those quadruple expansion, etc., we see that everything is coming from Balaram, while Krishna himself is at play. And I have a quick question. I have two questions, but one question. That is, Paramananda, where did you find the translation? Because in this translation that I have here, it doesn't mention the color of Balaram as being like the white peaks of the mountains.
Maharaj, I can send it to you.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a Goswami Maharaj translation. Did he translate the verse? Maybe.
No, another person, but it was approved as a translation.
Okay, that'll do. We want an approved translation. Because that's very happy. And we know, I mean, we read the books, but we read, the verses and the translations. And sometimes we know that some parts are in the verse which somehow didn't quite make it to the translation for whatever reason. So,
and actually there's a talk by Srila Gurudev. When he mentions briefly, he chants the pranam mantra, and then he mentions briefly, and his own words, saying that he is just like a snow of that mountain. Shining snow of that mountain.
Jai, beautiful. And you see, quite likely, I was sitting right there beside Gurudev when he gave the talk. But I'm afraid we're not Shrutida. I really would, so many times, so many things, I thought, if only I could remember like exactly what Gurudev said. And you see, Goswami Maharaj, okay, may not be Shrutidar in that like 100% sense, but he's very acute with his listening and remembrance of Guru Maharaj, of Gurudev, and many occasions, okay, many occasions. So that's why it's very good for us to hear from those who've heard and have better capacity than us at remembering things, relaying things, and relaying the content. We can misunderstand many things. Jai. Okay, any question from any quarter? And okay, yes, Rupa Vasu, just one moment. I just do want to say also that to Kat and to Madhava Priya Didi, to Rasamrita Devi, and to the various devotees who have joined in the meantime on the Facebook. And I know there are others that I don't see their names, and I don't know why, but to everybody who is with us, we're happy that you're with us live. And also to those who join who will join us after a little time, means they're recording. We're always happy to know that you're there and to have you with us. So just mentioning that. And yes, we have Rupa Vilas Prabhu with us on Zoom, connected very nicely, and very good light today, Prabhu. We are seeing you very clearly. All the better to see you. Rupa Vilas Prabhu.
Yes, once again, I would like to offer first my Dandavat pranams to each and everyone, to the dearest devotees who are here.
Jai.
Actually, this is not a question, but rather an observation that I just noticed personally, that in many of our preparations, sweet rice is always included. Okay. Now, when Śrī Balarāma came to the mat, in order to satisfy him, we offer pramana, sweet rice. And I just noticed that Mahaprabhu also loved pramana, and so many others love pramana, sweet rice. And I do believe that today that preparation will be appropriate for Lord Baladev. Now, may I kindly ask for your, should I say, clarification? Did I observe right, or something more?
Well, before we answer your question, we have a question for you, Rupa Vilas Prabhu. Do you like paramana?
Oh yes, that is our
Oh.
we always hear that on many occasions.
Jai, okay, I think this gives us a clue. If we like something, there's a very good chance Krishna likes it as well, and especially when it's to do with milk and milk preparations. After all, his original name, we are told, is Govinda. And I know in another place it said that Indra gives him his name, but Leela is Leela. But in some places it says Krishna's original name is Govinda, the pleaser of the cows, giving pleasure to the cows. And I think any young boy, any young girl, I mean child boy, child girl, will love sweet rice. And in fact, this is our experience. And we've seen thousands of young boys and young girls at a time taking prasadam. And we can say everybody loves sweet rice. And Krishna loves sweet rice. Balaram, Nityananda, Mahaprabhu, every one of the devotees, we never hear any of the Leela of Krishna where anybody doesn't want to take. No, I'm doing fasting, I won't take. Hare Krishna. So anyway, I only have a very mundane comment on that, that we have some tongue and some taste, and that capacities come from Krishna. And we have to admit our tongue and taste can say, oh, this is very wonderful. But now, when this most wonderful sweet comes along, then we now, having come in touch with Krishna consciousness, will think, oh, Krishna, Govinda, he likes this very much. Oh, how is it that he tasted it? So now, instead of our enjoying for ourselves, we can enjoy thinking of Krishna. However, I think Abhinavasundara Prabhu has a new light on this question of Paramana. Abhinavasundara Prabhu, help us with some new light. Why should Krishna and Balaram like Paramana? And have you offered Paramana today in the temple in Govinda Dham? Because remember, they're ahead of us in Govinda Dham. They've already broken their fast. Oh, just see, because the fasting today is until noon. So now they are afternoon. Or maybe you didn't break your fast yet. It's 10 to 1, right? Maybe you didn't break your fast, but maybe some did.
There's a chainsaw in the background, so I don't know if that's going to be too annoying.
That's no excuse. We want to hear about Paramana.
Well, I can say, Maharaj, one thing I can say about Paramana is one of your disciples, Gaura Hari, seems to be particularly fond of Paramana. With a name like Gaura Hari, I guess then that gives the reason why he's so fond of it. But yesterday he was eating a whole bowl of it, like a large bowl. And Mohanananda, he also accommodates those who cannot take dairy and makes dairy-free Paramana. Oh dear.
Don't tell Janardhan Maharaj. We know his first comment. Krishna is called Govinda, not Tofu Vinda.
That sounds offensive.
What does? Tofu, he's not called Tofu Vinda.
The milk-free Paramana.
Oh.
I mean, the answer is in the name itself, Maharaj. Why is it called Param Anna? Means there is nothing more tastier than that. This is just something absolutely mind-blowing, amazing. It's going to give you fullest satisfaction. Maharaj, with your permission, since we're on the Paramana subject and today is Baladeva Appearance Day, and it happened today in 2009. And Paramana was directly involved. So I have to tell this story. And just to underline the importance of Param Anna.
Given to us by Param Ananda.
That was given by Gurudev, actually. They revealed the glories of Paramanna revealed by Srila Gurudev. Here you go. It was in 2009, and I had to leave. We did our celebrations, but I had to leave around 10. So I went for work. It was some urgent work, and the feast was about, to start 12:31. And I couldn't make it till the evening. I said, just leave something for me. And I'm just doing what I'm doing, some urgent work. And then suddenly, Gurudev's servant calls me, and he says, Prabhu, you must come immediately. And his voice is very grave. And my heart just went down. I said, what happened? And he said, Gurudev didn't tell me, but he said, call Paramananda immediately. Tell him to come right now. And I said, what is going on? You can look at him. Is he okay? His health is okay. Is something happening? The Prabhu, I cannot tell. You must come. I said, please tell Gurudev, it's not an emergency. Really, it's something. I'm doing something super important. I cannot just leave like immediately. I will come at around 5 p.m. And that was 2 p.m. right after the feast. 5 minutes later, another call. Gurudev's servants on the phone. I said, Prabhu, I conveyed your message to Gurudev, but he said, whatever he's doing is not important. What is important is that he must come immediately to me. And then I understood I have to jump in the car and drive 1 hour back to where we are. So I'm running and I'm thinking, oh my God, Gurudev doesn't want to break the hearts of the devotees. Maybe he's having a heart attack or something horrible with his health. I'm running, I'm just dropping the car right in the front, not paying attention to anybody, just straight to the room. Say, Gurudev, what is it? I'm like entering, he's like, Gurudev, what is it? Even not offering dandavats properly. And he's sitting on the bed. I said, Prabhu, you sit down. I'm sitting. He said, yes, Gurudev, I will sit, but tell me what is going on. What is happening? Are your health is okay? Are you feeling good? I said, oh, Prabhu, I'm feeling very nice. But you sit down. He said, no, tell me first, what is the emergency? I said, Prabhu, wait a minute. And then he says something in Bengali, and the servant comes with the ball. And he gives me the ball. And Gurudev looks at me and says, Prabhu, you take. I said, Gurudev, yeah, I will take prasadam, but first of all, I want to know what is the emergency. Prabhu, no, you take prasad first. And that was Paramanna in the bowl. So I'm taking Paramanna, and it's so good. I'm like forgetting everything. So I'm finishing, but I'm in front of Gurudev. I mean, you got to, move your spoon. But Gurudev is looking at me, smiling, enjoying the whole thing. And I'm finished. He said, so Prabhu, how was it? I said, Gurudev, that was just amazing. Actually, it was probably the best Paramanna I ever had in my life. He said, that's why I called you. This is why I called you. When I tasted that Paramanna, and I know Paramanna is not there, I said, save him a bowl of Paramanna. This is the best Paramanna I ever tasted. And he said, and then he added, only the fools will not relish that Paramanna. And that was the emergency. And that completely blew my mind. I had to leave everything because he said it's not important compared to honoring Paramanna on the appearance day of Baladev. So maybe that will answer your question.
Rupa Vilasu, you got a turbocharged answer.
Thanks to my lucky stars, I was not absent today. Oh Lord, thank you. Where else will I hear this thing? Only from the devotees. Thank you, everyone. You made my heart today. You always want me to cry. Why?
Haribol, Haribol. And this is an indication of our living gurus, like everything so alive. Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, our family, our guardians, but of a very special family. Hare Krishna, beautiful things. And that continues, and you see Gaura Hari today relishing prasadam, not knowing these stories, but naturally the heart is saying, oh, such wonderful things. Hare Krishna. So Abhinava Sundarabhu and Kelly, give us a mini report from today, because today you've had your at least morning part of the festival. from Govinda Dham in UK, a remote corner of the world in Australia. Tell us something that happened today, kindly.
Dhanyavad Maharaj. Well, we can't say a lot because our festival is in the evening today.
Oh, okay.
So we've been at the temple, but we were packing prasadam, and the devotees are just going about cleaning the temple and getting ready. We can't have a celebration because we're in lockdown, but we're preparing to do a Zoom kind of festival, but it's in the evening, so
Okay.
I'll have to report later.
Australia finally got locked down. Oh, again, because you were locked down earlier on. Okay. I'm sorry. May the separation from the devotees bring some special union, and that sweet rice. You're going to have to, if you do a Zoom, you're going to have to zoom in on the prasadam preparations, which won't include Varuni, but which certainly will be including sweets.
Yes.
And somebody asked me this week, I forget, any of you here, I forget who it was. What is Pera? They were hearing Gurudev Govinda Maharaj talking about Pera. And so while we're thinking of Krishna and thinking of Vrindavan, Pera, if you hear Gurudev talking about the sweet, it's probably the or one of the classic sweets of Vrindavan. It's a milk sweet, and I don't know how anything's made. I am not the creator, I'm the consumer, unfortunately. But it is definitely, it's boiled down milk, it's brown color, and it's sold in little small balls, little small circular balls. And they last for about a week. So they're very popular for pilgrims to take home to their families, communities, etc. And also they're in this like super unique kind of taste, delicious category, but offered to Krishna. And the Gurudev, this week I was asked about that. That's why I just mentioned here also the Pera. If you hear, the word is P-E-I-R-A, Pera. And they're not, you can't always get in Vrindavan. We got our special shops to go to where they sell it because it's in demand, and so it gets sold out quickly. But anyway, so related to sweet rice. And we must all try to do something on these days and to remember Balaram, to remember Nityananda, as we mentioned at the very beginning. Then inseparably, we will be seeing the glories of Balaram and the glories of Nityananda. We can read the Nityananda Dvadashakam, the 12 prayers composed by Guru Maharaj in praise of Nityananda Prabhu. They're also giving us that explanation of Balaram and Nityananda being non-different, and all the amazing things that some all means indicating the amazing qualities of Nityananda and of Balaram, and different places. So Balaram's appearance day, it is a fasting day, dear devotees. And for those in America, it's still yesterday while we speak, I know, but you understand it's today also. It's today in India, after all, Balaram appeared in India. So anyway, it is a fasting day. It's one of the few in the year. So try to be good boys and good girls. And then after midday can break the fast with feast, with grains, with everything. It's not that we take paran, that we take, anukalpa. It's not that we take non-grains afterwards. On Balaram's appearance day, we take a full grains feast. All right, dear devotees, the day continues for everybody. And please continue the day happily in Balaram consciousness, which means also Krishna consciousness, which means Nityananda consciousness, Gauranga consciousness, which means Guru consciousness. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, founder, charger of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. And Jai Srila Gurudev, inseparable, assistant, servitor, associate, everything of Srila Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. And Jai Srila Prabhupada, who brought Guru Maharaj's message all over the world. Srila Saraswati Thakur's message, as he received it through Srila Guru Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, and jai Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who has made Krishna consciousness clear to everybody what is the pure, clean line of Krishna consciousness. And let us honor him, especially by following that ourselves and not just leaving it on the side burner. So he fought very hard for the purity of Krishna consciousness. Let us try to maintain that and not allow our generations for any dilution of that to come. So Jai Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai, Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Bhaga ki jai, and Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai, and all the Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki jai, all the family, all the devotees of Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai, and all the infinite number of devotees here and in the upper world. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Gaur, and of course Jai Śrī Balarāma Dev's appearance day ki jai. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dear devotees, have a special day with best wishes. Govinda Govinda.
Jai Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Govinda,
Thank you,
Govinda.
Maharaj. Thank you.